Okay, so you guys are working now on examining a mentor text, specifically an essay. This one is a literary essay, which means it's about a story. Fictional story that we read earlier this week is Fox, and today we started to deconstruct one student's essay about Fox, and we wanted to see how she planned it out. So we looked at the Oreo chart and we figured out from the way that her essay was written what her Oreo chart probably looks like, because the way that she wrote it, it's easy for us to follow it and understand. Then, because we were able to see the relationship between her thesis, which is her opinion statement, and her reasons and her examples, then we could also figure out what question she probably was responding to, which is this one about character and life. Now, your assignment is to also examine whether she met the standards for the essay. The first thing you want to do is zoom in a little bit so it's easier for you to read the checklist, the rubric. We have one example here, organization. In your essay, you're expected to separate the information using paragraphs. So it shouldn't just be a whole bunch of words with no separation in between, because that is actually difficult for people to follow. So we're going to organize into paragraphs. Did she do this? Yes, she did. So what I did is I showed you, I clicked on yes, I dragged the arrow to yes, and then I wrote down, I copied and pasted part of her paragraph transition, and then I just added an arrow and wrote indent inside of it so that you would know that that's one of the key ways that I can tell that she used paragraphs. So that's one example. I see that it was a little unclear still, so I'm going to give you examples for lead, transitions, and ending. If you're watching this, you'll be able to copy and paste exactly what I'm doing onto yours. I'll leave the elaboration part up to you to do to show that you really understand what you have to do. The elaboration part, you're going to have to find from Katherine's essay examples, or at least one example of where she's giving a reason, and you're going to paste it here. And then here, you'll look for a sentence that shows that she's given an example and paste it here. So let's try first with the lead. In the lead, which is the introduction, did she write a few sentences to hook her readers, perhaps by asking a question, explaining the topic, why the topic mattered, telling a surprising fact, or giving background information? Did she state her claim? So let's go to the first paragraph. It says, in the book Fox by Margaret Wilde, the character Dog is a good friend. He's a good friend because he is caring, because he never gives up on his friends, and because he sees the good in people. So this is well organized because we can tell that each body paragraph is going to give a reason, and we know that we expect it to be in this order. First, about him being caring, the next one about not giving up on friends, and the next one about seeing the good in people. And as it shows here, this here is her opinion. The background, in a sense, is that she's letting us know she read about Dog in this book. So we're going to take the entire sentence. This is her claim, clearly stated her thesis statement, and a little bit of the background letting us know what book she's referring to. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And then I'm going to go back and I want to paste it here, but I don't want to take the font as big as it is. So I'm going to select paste without formatting. And that way it just fits inside of my space here. So this is an example of how she presented her claim. So I'm going to say she's starting to do this part. I would put it here because she didn't really give us an intriguing opening. She just got right to the point, which is important. The most important part is making sure we know what your claim is. And she gave us some background by letting us know what book she found it in. But we could use a little bit more to draw us into the essay. So she's starting to. Then transitions. That's when you see those phrases that let you know that the relationship from one sentence to the next. So you might see transition phrases like, for example, and another example, one time, for instance, in addition. These are transition phrases. You know, we've been using that. So what you want to do is you go back to the essay and look for some sort of transition phrase. The first one she uses is one reason. That's a transition phrase. She also uses, for example. I'm going to leave the reason and example ones because maybe you want to use that later. Hint, hint. All right. So I could say also, or this shows, okay, these are transition phrases. Later in the story, that's a transition phrase, okay? I think I like that one best because it's one that we don't commonly use. So I want you guys to note that you can do that too. So I'll take that one. And I think that's enough. I'm going to copy. And when I go back here, I'm going to remember that when I paste, I want to paste without formatting so that it fits in this space. I might even want to highlight that this is the transition phrase. So I'm going to highlight that transition phrase. Okay. I could even highlight up here where she states the claim, dog. That's my way of showing that that's what I wanted to point out. Here, I think she did a good job pretty much throughout the essay, yes, of using transition phrases. So she's done that. Okay, it's a little tricky having the technology do what you want it to do, but that's all right. You'll be big time techies when it's done, when we're all done with this pandemic. Okay, so the ending part, that's the conclusion. I wrote an ending for my piece in which I restated and reflected, remember, reflected on my claim, perhaps suggesting an action or response based on what I had written. So I go right to the conclusion. Did she do that in her conclusion? Here is the opinion. As you can see, dog is a good friend throughout the book. And the reflection, he is the kind of friend most people would hope for. All right, I think we can just take that, and the tech will do some funny things, but it's okay. As you go through that, you learn more. He's the kind of friend most people would hope for. So that is my restatement along with the reflection. And I'm going to show that this is evidence that she did it. She accomplished that part as well. Now just move it to say, yes, she did that. So you guys can go ahead and copy and paste exactly as you see these responses. If you have other examples that you know fit, you can leave that. But you can also just go ahead and copy this just to, first of all, you'd be showing that you paid attention to the video, which is good. But also to make sure you have an accurate model. But then make sure that you go back into her essay and find reasons. You can pick just one and include it here. And then examples, pick just one and include it here. Okay? Good luck.